Live. No, damn it. No, no, no. You know what? Actually, I'm going to let this keep going live, but I'm going to be back in a second. I think there's going to be the aspect ratio. Your friend's going to have a little bit of nature. I'm going to have to like set the title still, and I want to get myself a glass of water as well, so enjoy the tap and nature for a while if you don't mind, friends. And then I'll be back in just a second. Here we go. Oh. Hello! Fortunately, there's no YouTube friends tuning in just yet, so I get to not spaz out and worry about that for another second or so as I type in my title. Day 296. Future possibilities. So, teas with friends. It's 23rd. 31. It's over. Thank you, friends, watching this, afterwards while dealing with it. Like, I'm sure you friends would have probably skipped a little bit of it so we can find each other a little bit more. Is that about right? That looks a little bit better. Okay, let's go live on Reddit. There we go. We'll give it a second or two and we'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again on the live stream. Another moment. Whew. Today has been chock-packed, if you will. Woke up at 6 a.m. Well, woke up at like 20 minutes past 5. Got ready, drove away from home at 6 a.m. Arrived at friends' place, Adam to be exact. Had, meeting talking about the future possibilities of the hemp industry here in South Africa. We're trying to establish some things. It's a little bit of a mission at the moment. Like, there's so much stuff that needs to happen. There's so much water that needs to flow under the bridge. But basically, the essentials of it is that right now here in South Africa, we have the ability to have like 4 plants per person, like as an adult, like up to 8 plants, but then you have to have like some sort of reason to have 8 plants. So like 4 plants is the minimum, or the max, well, the minimum that you can grow without any legal repercussions. So the system that they're basically trying to bring into South Africa right now is this ability to kind of have your 4 plants on your property, grow these 4 plants per person that you have as an adult on your farm, and then you basically document everything. You make sure you say how much fertilizer you use, how much water you're using, etc. And then you basically provide these plant materials to an organization. And the people that we were talking to are the ones that is trying to get this organization off of the ground, if you will. And it's something that looks very exciting. Like, they also have the ideas of kind of doing hemp alongside with that, but unfortunately we can only do like 1 hectares of hemp per person, and like a hectare is like 100 meters by 100 meters, which is not a lot. We have about 50 hectares, of irrigated soil. So ideally, we would want to plant 50 hectares of soil, but they just don't want to allow us to. Like, there's so much regulation and stuff going on in South Africa right now that just makes these things nearly impossible. And it's mildly frustrating. And from what I've heard or what I've seen, at least with my dad's intention right now, is that we probably won't be doing it because it's just not economically viable to do so. Like, especially if it's 1 hectare per person, like the max that we can possibly do then is what, 5, maybe 6 hectares, and then you have to like literally run an entire spill point for such a small amount of grow. Like, our motors got stolen off of our pivots as well. The wires got stripped by people that steal wire for for freaking copper. So like, it's literally going to be a few $1,000s just to have like wires replaced, motors replaced, with the potential of nothing, like no potential profit of coming off of it. And it's a little bit unfortunate, like, this is something that's so exciting. It's literally going to, at least it's starting to bring these opportunities into South Africa that is going to help us, give people jobs, going to help us kind of like bring into South Africa this hemp industry, potential cannabis industry. And we already have a thriving cannabis industry in South Africa. We just kind of like are doing it underneath these loopholes, like, opening coffee shops, and you order a coffee and you can pick a joint. We give you the joint free. You're not paying for weed here. You're just paying for your coffee. Like, we have loopholes like that, and people are taking advantage of them. But it's limited. It's very limited at the moment. There's so much we can do. South Africa has so much potential. I'm gonna take a sip of water, and for the rest of the stream, take sips of water for potential. We have all of the potential, friends. It can be so difficult sometimes to realize that we have all of this potential, and yet we have all of these bureaucratic nonsense, kind of standing in the way of us actually utilizing or realizing that potential. I don't know if it is the case. I think it might still be. I'm just not seeing any comments. So if you're sending comments and I'm not reading them, it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I do not see them. Maybe that's exactly what this stream is supposed to be about. Interestingly enough, I wanted to spend some time, and I'll maybe do that like closer to the end of the month. Maybe on the 28th. So like in 5 days, we'll just have a stream where I'm just going to be rolling joints the entire stream. I have a friend whose birthday is on the 5th of November, and I unfortunately do not have copious amounts of cash to give her, so I'm just going to roll her copious amounts of joints. You might see my dad in the background as well. Soonish. They're shooting arrows at targets. Oh, potential and possibilities. Man, life has been so interesting. We find ourselves in these positions where we know what it is we're supposed to do. We know what we're capable of. We know what like can come next. And yet we still kind of find it so hard to actually do those things. Or we find it in a way that we kind of question ourselves, if we should do these things or if we should continue to do these things. And I'm finding myself in that space right now. And it can be so difficult. Is he there? Self-doubt, I think he's literally just out of frame. Self-doubt is something that has been prevailing in my life for so long, unfortunately. And like on the way here, me and my dad had the same conversation we've had 10,000 times before. And it was just this loop, like this constant loop of me bringing the information that I believe in, and him kind of telling me how that's not right. And like the information that I stand on these days, and it's something that I would say as well, is information that I feel like I found for myself, if that makes any sense, you know. It's not necessarily information that I had to be taught, but information that I kind of had to come to the conclusions myself. And I believe genuinely that if you came to conclusions yourself, that information quite fundamentally is a little bit more trustworthy than any information you would find outside of yourself. Because it's this kind of trick, you know, that every single religious sect plays on you. They make you believe that somehow you do not have the access to this information. They have access to this information. And the only way for you to access this information is for you to be completely enthralled within this sect. And it becomes this game that they play on you, you know. They fool you, and then you're fooled, and then as a result of your being fooled, you stay fooled, and then they keep fooling you because they know you can't be fooled. And it's painful. You know, like I do think the stream might be broken, so I am going to start it again, just so that I, you know, can give myself some peace of mind. So I'll see you friends again on the other side. I am streaming on the YouTube as well, so you know, if you want a continuous stream, the YouTube will provide that. Oh, yeah, it can be rough sometimes. You know, I found myself feeling very at odds as of late. You know, questioning what I'm doing, questioning whether or not I should be doing it, questioning, you know, the viability of continuing doing it. And all of these questions can be really difficult, you know, conceptually, because they kind of at the base of them have this feeling of self-doubt in a way that it's not only doubting of the self, but it's doubting of the ideas you hold, doubting of the feelings you feel, doubting of, you know, the things you believe to be true. And I believe that instead of that doubt being an indication as to you should stop doing it or you're wrong, it's like this resistance that kind of gets posed to you to see, you know, how serious you really are about it. Are you genuinely as aligned with it as you believe you are? Hmm. What is to come? Maybe that would be the title. Let me copy it this time. What is to come, friends? There we go. Hmm. Potential. We have an infinite amount of potential in this moment to experience an infinite amount of information. And it can sometimes be intimidating, you know, because we'd rather not. We'd rather experience less than more of it, more often than not. And I feel like I'm in the mindset, in the feeling of wanting to experience less of it than not. This thing is not going live again. I don't know if Reddit is broken again. It might be. Let's try this again. It's making me appreciate the freaking YouTube stream even more. I did have the opportunity to roll a joint for a friend at the like meeting we just had. You know, like I haven't been able to roll myself a joint. I've been wanting to roll someone a joint. Okay. I think it did actually go live now again on the Reddit. So thank you again, friends, for joining me in this space. I was just saying that, you know, like I went to a friend's place today to kind of talk about the future possibilities of what's to come, like possible hemp opportunities, possible cannabis opportunities here in South Africa. And all of it is absolutely fantastic, with what it can bring to South Africa and what it could hold for the possibilities. But, as it looks right now, it wouldn't be economically viable to do so, unfortunately. And, like while we were talking about this stuff and we were basically like coming to an end of the business conversations, if you will, and there was this one other guy that was gonna roll himself a joint, and I was like, "Do you mind if I roll you a joint?" And he was like, "You can roll me one, but I'll leave it for later," because he was basically in the trenches. There we go, Kira. I see you, my friend. Thank you for your light. I really needed it right now. Like, was like basically telling him that I was going to roll him a joint, and thank you for the silver as well, Matthias. I appreciate that. And one of the ladies told me I can roll her a joint if I really wanted to. And I'm like, yes, please, I would love to do that. Since I can't roll one for myself, I would genuinely want to roll one for you. And I asked her for a pen, and she was like, "Don't you need it like a toothpick rather?" She like thought I was gonna try and like stuff with it or something. And I was like, "No, I want a pen to be able to write with." And she gives me a pen and like brings me the pen, and I write this little message on it, and I write the message ontwikkeling, development. And development is something that we're constantly doing, right? We're constantly in this process of growing ourselves, becoming more of ourselves, becoming more clear of an image of ourselves, if you will, if you want to think about the development of an image, for example. And like my intention with that as well, and I shared with her, is just this ability to kind of create this neurological pattern with inside of your mind. Every single time you say the word development, ontwikkeling, you kind of bring this understanding into yourself, and you kind of use that as your fire starter, right, of this neurological pattern that you're going to be experiencing. And like I chose the word development, with a good reason as well. Like I feel like I've been and I've seen new friends as well, just like been developing so much, just over this last 296 days, if you will. And it's not something that ever really ceases unless we wanted to. Like I've seen other people just kind of stop their development as well. I don't know if it's out of fear or discomfort, maybe. I think maybe it's discomfort that we stop developing. Dry historian, it's been forever, my friend. It's so nice to have you here again. How have you been? How's life been treating you? I'm wondering the same for you, Matthias. And how about you, Kira? How are you, my friend? Theta Niner says, can't stick around because I'm heading to have pancakes with my kiddo. But I hope everyone has an amazing day. Why, thank you, Theta. So nice of you to say, friend. I hope you too have an amazing day. Put some extra like syrup on those pancakes for your kid. I hope it's an amazing dinner or breakfast, technically, I guess. Man, I'm definitely feeling some things today. I'm not sure if I'm feeling good things. I don't know where those little bzz are coming from as well. I think they might be messages I'm receiving on my main phone. Sorry, YouTube friends, but I'm feeling a little bit down. Kind of disappointed. Katie, thank you so much for the energy you're giving me. I really need it. What's your favorite wheat strain? Sour diesel, dude. Has been the wheat strain. Like it was basically the first bud I ever smoked in my entire life, and I was like Galaxy Blaze for like 6 hours, and it's probably because it was my first time, getting stoned, if you will, and that's why it was so strong. But that experience is and was so ingrained in my brain that I've held on to sour diesel as being my favorite strain. I want to try it again. Dragonborn, thank you for the silver, friend. And Katie, I love you too, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Like I was saying, I'm feeling a little bit down today. more disappointed, than anything. Just because, like, we talked about so many things today, and like the possibility of these things, and the ability for them to help people. And oh man, I think something is stinging me. And maybe it's something on my skin. It's yes, this is like kind of hurting me right now. Maybe it's just the saying of why is this hurting so much? I don't know if there's like a little bug or something kind of stuck in my shirt. If it's the disappointment of things not being necessarily as we think they could be, or knowing that they're not going to be as they could be. And because they're not going to be as we hoped they would be, now they're not going to be. And the potential of me disappointing, my friend as well, because of this circumstance, if you will. I love you too, Dry. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your love so much. Sour Diesel is awesome. You should try Orange Chameleon. I bet the bugs is South Africa are giant. Some of them are. Not all of them. Dude, like I think there's maybe like something inside of my skin right now because it's persistent. Like it's just this stinging through me. But I'm now realizing that I've tried to alleviate the pain 3 times. And every time I go there and come back to being in a comfortable position, the pain doesn't go away. So I'm going to accept the pain and just sit with it. It feels like a bee sting, like a constant bee sting. It's not comfortable, but I'm not going to run away from it. Hey Darcy, thank you for the wholesome, my friend. I'm feeling a little bit funky today, dude. How are you feeling, Darcy? It's been a long time since I've tuned into your stream, man. I've missed you. How has things been in Canada? How has things been with your son? Show us where it hurts. Like it hurts around there, dude. Like there, kind of. But there's nothing there. It's, if anything, is my mind, dude. Like I'm kind of chalking it up to my mind just kind of fucking with me right now. It's being like, oh yeah, you're uncomfortable. How about this? How about discomfort? Now you're actually uncomfortable, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, yeah, I am. Some ice will soothe it. No, I wanna feel the pain, Katie. I feel like it's a lesson that I'm supposed to learn at this moment. Surely ice will soothe it. It might rather soothe it, but I don't want it to be soothed. It's the same thing with this disappointment slash kind of off feeling I'm having towards what's happening right now as well. Like to give you an idea, like I shared a little bit in the first stream. So thank you, Kira. Thank you so much, my friend. Like basically, what's happening right now is there is this opportunity slash development happening in South Africa right now, and with a friend of mine and with people my friend knows, that they want to basically bring the cannabis industry and the hemp industry to South Africa in a little bit more of a large scale way, but large scale in a way that is not like infinitely large, is more large in the way where like you can have a maximum of like 20 plants per household, depending on your family size, up to like a hectare of hemp plants. And we have 50 hectares of irrigated, soil, which means that if you don't plant the entire 25 hectares, then technically you're wasting water. Or if you're not planting like an entire kind of, you know, pie slice of that, if you will, you're wasting a lot of water. Like you're just going to be throwing water onto the ground basically. And on top of that, the difficulties of actually just seeding these things, the difficulty of getting the licensing attached to it. And it's this amazing opportunity, to kind of develop jobs, to bring this industry into South Africa and to be a part of this movement. And then at the same time, like according to my dad, it's not economically feasible to do so. So I'm kind of met with this feeling of being both excited about the potential of creating and facilitating the cannabis industry, or at least the hemp industry in South Africa, while at the same time knowing that I can't do that. It's not something that's going to be possible, just because of the current economic feasibility of it. I shared as well, like at the bottom pivot, the electric lines got stolen, so a few $1,000 worth of wiring, and on our closer pivot, the motors of the wheels got stolen off of the machines. So it's going to be a few $1,000s worth of reinvestment into equipment we already have because of thieves here in South Africa. It's nice. And my dad is just like, nah, it's not gonna happen. And now, I haven't told my friend this, but I'm going to have to. And it's something that it's pretty painful. It's not only painful because it's an opportunity that I'm going to have to miss out on, but it's also going to be painful because this is not only an opportunity for me, but it's also an opportunity for my friend. It's not the only one though. There are some other things as well, but it is a bit of a bummer. And then basically, after we've had this conversation, me and my dad, on the way here, it deviated again into the whole, religious aspect or the religious conversation. And, I was so calm, like complete calm, complete relaxation, like having absolute no hostility in my voice or in my demeanor, in the questions I was asking. Like there was just so much that was being said. And I remember like there was one distinct thing where he was like, God is, what did he say? God is rechtvaardig, like just, like God is a just God or something like that. And I'm like, do you think it's just to damnate a being for eternity because of what that being did, either in a moment or in like 100 years of life? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, okay, so can you, argue with me that God would have had eternities, eons, eons on eons on eons to kind of understand and realize his or its own divinity? And it was like, no, there was just knowing of it. So I'm like, okay, so like how can you expect a human being to come to that same level of understanding within themselves in such a short time? Like, isn't it something that you would have to learn over and over and over and over again, 1,000 different ways before you'll actually properly get it? And that's the way I feel about it as well, sometimes. Like the lessons we've learned, I feel like we've learned so many times, and we've learned in so many ways. And because of these, plethora of times we've learned it, and the amount of spectrum slash perspective that we've had on these lessons, it basically gives us some sort of insight as to how to realize these things a little bit more fully. And I believe it's kind of generational as well. You see like fundamental lessons, especially lessons in empathy, being learned by our younger generation. Like it's almost something fundamental to our younger generations as they're being born right now, to have almost this ingrained level of empathy in them that was completely lacking in our previous generations. And in that way, like we're coming closer and closer and closer to this fundamental understanding of our own divinity, where my dad believes that, if you've made these mistakes, done. You're just damned forever. And like saying something like that, and then also holding on to the belief that the God you're believing in is one that loves you, it feels so cognitively dissonant to me, right? Like, how do you hold on to both of those understandings at the same time? And like, there's so much me and my dad would agree upon, and yet there's so much we disagree upon as well, unfortunately. Like, it's like, agreeing on all of this stuff, and then just before you kind of get to the point, that's where you disagree. And it can be kind of frustrating. It's like you're leading, like this horse to the water, and then as soon as the horse gets to the water, just refuses to drink. And that's the whole saying as well, right? You can lead the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. It's like we're choosing to, do different things. One of us are drinking, one of us are refusing to. And the joke about it is we both think the other doesn't want to drink of the water. Oh, I'm drinking. I'm drinking for potential and possibility. Man, man. I love you, friends. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How's life been treating you? Darcy says, things are good, brother. I'm playing my first music show tomorrow. Is the pain on your left side? No. Well, no. Like, this is my left side. This is my right side. So, no. Like, I hope I'm not having a heart attack. Is that how heart attacks work, Darcy? Like, no, though. Thank you for asking, though, man. And what music show are you doing? What instrument do you play, Darcy? It's a microscopic parasite that lives under your skin. You are its host. It will show itself soon, like in the movie Venom. That sounds fucking yikes, dude. Yassi. Like, if I could get Venom powers and start. No, let me stop myself right there. I was just thinking about the scene where he just eats a dude. I'm like, bro, where does all of those calories go? Does the parasite eat the calories? Why does it need so much? Technically, the parasite itself is kind of small and was able to live on a space rock, for a long time, arguably without any calories. So, you know, what do you do with an entire human's worth of calories? I shouldn't be asking these questions. I'm gonna stop right now. It's been trying to work it out for years. All I know is that it's the root of all evil. Orange is the root of all evil. Oh, what is the square root of a carrot? Oh, it's the root of all evil. I mean, I kind of get it, but I still don't actually. Absolutely wish we could have our own hemp farm. Yeah, me too. Why does it have to be so difficult, Kira? That's the thing that I'm wondering. Like, it doesn't have that much THC or CBD in it. Technically, the hemp seed can be used as like a food source. The actual stems of the weed can be processed into textiles, can be processed into hempcrete, can be processed into medicinal products. It's a wonder plant, and yet there's just so much things in the way. Like, only being able to grow a hectare per person. It's like per adult person of a household. It's such bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit because it's no different than corn would be, or like cotton would be. And if we had the same kind of legislation, like, you don't need licenses to grow cotton, you don't need licenses to grow tobacco, and yet tobacco, gram for gram, the actual nicotine is more poisonous than cyanide. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Is nicotine more poisonous than cyanide? You'll find yes. It is. You can kill someone easier with like nicotine extractions than you can by trying to source cyanide from somewhere. And that sounds a little bit of a yikes amount of information to know. I used to be very dark at one point in my life, and I was researching ways of. I'm gonna stop right there. Actually, damn, that sucks. I'm sure your friend will understand. Good point, Estian. Thank you, Katie. Like, I'm sure he will understand as well. but it still kind of hurts, you know. It's not something that I necessarily wanna tell him. You know, I won't consider myself a yes man, but you know, when it's something that we both know is of so much value, not only to us, you know, but to other people as well. Like we can create 1,000 jobs, you know, in the hemp industry within the next year. 1,000 jobs, 1,000 families, you know, being able to afford a livelihood. 1,000 families being able to afford books for their children. 1,000 families being able to, you know, eat. Like we won't be able to provide 1,000 jobs, obviously, but it's the start of this process, you know. And if things have just are just, you know, the way they're supposed to be, if these things didn't have all of this legislation attached to it, you know, these things could have been, it could have already been for like so long. We could have helped so many people already. And now, because of this nonsense, because of these like financial greeds, it's just being stopped. Hades, dude. I'm talking about South Africa, man. I'm talking about the world technically, but yeah, it's been a little bit discouraging. How are you doing, Hades? It's nice to have you here, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate your hugs. Ooh, Kira says, candle and incense burning for you. It hurts to see you hurt, friend, in any way. I'm not hurt, Kira. I'm just feeling a little bit meh, you know. Uh, uh, you know, like it's not an anger. It's not a like a complete sadness. It's just this mild, come on, dude. Like that's the feeling. Like, come on, man. Come on, come, bro, come. Why? Why these things? Why like that? Hey, Mojo. Hey, friends. Something happened. Sorry, late to the stream. Nothing particularly, you know, like nothing detrimental. Just the potential of an opportunity has been kind of met and looks to be dead in the water is the kind of feeling I have to it. Like hearing that there is this amazing thing in the pool. Come look, there's this cool thing in the pool. And then we're like, ooh, what's this in the pool? And it's just like floating there, like, whoa. I'm like, bruh. Bruh. Why? Why? Oh, that's a great way of putting it. Thank you, Dragon. I appreciate you, friends, appreciating it. Cry if you need, dear. Oh, I'm gonna cry later. Don't worry, Katie. Thank you. Gob, sup, hotties. Thank you, dude. I appreciate your energy, Gob. I'm doing well, man. How are you? Are you still on Haywire Hill? How has it been, bro? Bre, How's it been, Gob? I'm so helpful. That helpful, dude. Like my brain doesn't want to work right now, man. I'm so thankful for you being here with us. As for you, Afronix, thank you for the hugs, my friend. Oh, Timor. Hello, hippie guy. Hello, Colt. It's been a while, friend. I'm not smoking weed this month, actually. Yeah, I'm taking a little bit of a break. I was overdoing it, you know, beforehand. You know, oh, wanna eat a meal? Take a bong rip. Oh, wanna watch a casual YouTube video? Take a bong rip. Oh, you know, want to meditate? Take a bong rip. Oh, want to go to bed? Take a bong rip. And I felt myself, you know, kind of relying on it in a way that wasn't healthy anymore, in my personal opinion. Like I wasn't doing it with the respect I have for the plant, and that kind of led me to this realization that maybe I have to take a break and realign my values, kind of purge myself of that pattern, not even the actual cannabis, but just the pattern of use that I was getting used to. And yeah, it's been very beneficial. I've been feeling clear, you know, but I've also, you know, that clear feeling can sometimes be unobstructed in a way that it makes you aware of things that you don't necessarily want to be aware of. Like specifically, I'm talking about dreams. You know, I've been having such unpleasant dreams, you know, as of late. You know, dreams that kind of bring me to these awarenesses of murder, bring me to awareness of self harm, you know, suicide. Like I literally try to to take my own life in a dream, and it was kind of emotional, and it was like watching myself die in slow motion for the whole dream. And I was like dragging myself around as I was slowly dying, to do these different places. And then I would, oh goodness, I don't even know if I want to share these dreams. Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, they were just kind of yikes, dude. Like, just not good dreams. And technically, when you see smoking weed, you kind of have these hectic dreams as well. And it wasn't something that I appreciated. And I instantly, upon waking up from these dreams, I get into this realization that if I start smoking weed again, these dreams will kind of subside with the starting up of this habit again. And it's like I'm being met with this resistance of like, oh, maybe you should do this thing. Maybe it's gonna help. Maybe it's gonna take these things away. And I'm like, no, I've made this commitment. Like Gob is actually one of my inspirations as well. Like Gob has been going for long, and he's been like respecting it a lot more as well. Like your smile, mate. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you saying that. Nice car. I love you. Can you take me to God, spiritual guy? No, unfortunately, cult. Only you can do that, my friend. That is literally each and every single one of our paths to walk for ourselves. If anything, we're like holding hands on our individual paths. We're like, yes, we're walking towards this path of God, if you will, together. But I can't take you there. I won't be able to drag you, for example. You have to walk yourself. Fortunately slash unfortunately called BBA. Thank you though, I appreciate you. I'm gonna be broke really quick using weeds all the time. Yeah, you possibly will. You possibly will. Like, I fortunately have the luxury of growing for myself, so I have more weed than I can smoke. So even if I wanted to consta blaze the entire day, I would not be able to run out, and it wouldn't cost me anything. But I've made a decision not to do that. Like it was a potential experience that consciousness could have, and I decided that that wasn't the potential experience of consciousness that was going to bring the most good into this world. Maybe some fun experiences for myself, but maybe not so much for the experiences of my loved ones or this world that I'm finding myself in. Hey, Cripper, it's been yo 2 months since I've seen you, friend. Thank you for joining us again. How have you been? How's life been treating you? What a nightmare dream you got. Yeah, speaking about dreams, it's been a long time since I had nightmares. Me too, dude. Like, I, for the longest time, believed I don't get nightmares. And I still wouldn't consider them really nightmares. I would just consider them challenging dreams. But, with that same kind of mentality that I don't consider that you can have bad trips, you just have challenging trips. Like, it's not a bad trip. You're just gonna be, like, kind of smacked around by some information that you might not want to have right now. And like information like the human nature to murder or to kill, even being the self, isn't necessarily information that you want to have, but it is information that sometimes you'll be confronted by. And if you can't, be logical, can't be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like adult, mature. That's the word. If you can't be mature about it, like you're going to kind of beat yourself up about it, and it's so difficult to be mature over things that are technically mature subjects. Like it's like what? How am I supposed to do that? Oh Mel, dreams like that are. I can't really explain it. I have them nightly. Much love. They are. Yeah, I agree completely, Kira. Like such a visceral experience as well. You know, like I remember in this dream, being given opportunities to be saved, if you will. Like family members coming into the room, kind of, like holding a hand out, literally, like my body being completely numb. And I'm curious, if it's a part of my dream state, if like in a way my brain becomes aware of my sleep paralysis, because technically your brain like disconnects you from your body so that you don't like rampantly run around if you're running in a dream, for example. So I wonder if it was that, if that was why I was like feeling that way. But I was like literally inanimate, and like people were dragging me around to places, and then I found myself on like the back of this truck, just kind of, being transported, and I found myself on this train, and then the people on the train, you know, were being explicit. Let's say it in that way. Like uh, like take explicit how you would, like take explicit in the worst way you can, and that's what it was. And I had to defend myself from that, but I defended myself in the most extreme way that I could, and they found themselves no longer on the train afterwards, both bodily and metaphysically. And then, like after that, it was almost like I regained some sense of life, and it was like like changed me, if you will. And I could morph, and I could literally change my form, and I could shift into different beings as I was like walking through this train and like finding myself in different cars, and people would like address me in some way. They'd be like, "Oh, hey Dave," and then I would like I'd become Dave, and I would be Dave. I would like the weird thing as well is, by the end of the train, I came to this woman, and like I walked past her without seeing me, and I asked her, "Who do you think I am?" And she gave me a name, and I turned into who she think I was. Man, it's so fucking weird, dude. The weird thing as well is, we were asking the question of who am I? And then I find these dreams of like I am no one technically, and I have the ability to be everyone. And it's either a choice of myself or of someone else's self. And it's like I'm being confronted not only in these dream states, but in my waking state as well, with what self do you want to be? And it's a difficult one, because I'm trying to be the self I want to be, but it's like it's not acceptable. It's not appropriate. It's not possible. Potential. I won't have it any other way. Do you have dreams? How do we know dreams mean something? I really hope nightmares are not bad signs for the future. I don't think so, friend. Like, if anything, like some of the most sober realities, the most sobering realities, is more of a sign of bad things to come than anything. Like when you realize some of the biases of this world, for example, that's very much a reality that could spell doom. But I don't think nightmares necessarily indicate any bad things to come. If anything, nightmares indicate your love of good things, and then you basically have these nightmares in preparation of the potential bad things that could come. Nice scarf you have there. Thank you, Colt. This was a gift from a friend. A friend that is very dear and close to my heart. A friend that I'll see very soon, actually. I think this side is the same. Yeah, it looks like it. It is gorgeous though. Like I had one scarf that was like this Rasta, like actual Bob Marley was on the scarf. He still is, but it's like these green and red and black and yellow colors, like Rasta colors. Oof. And like I love that scarf, but it was a little bit tattered. It like it's seen a lot of stuff, and I've been dancing with it for a long time. And it basically was the only scarf that I would wear, to festivals and as a piece, if you will. And then this friend of mine, Christian, for my birthday, my 21st and my 22nd birthday party that I held together because I was in China for both of them, so I wanted to still celebrate them. He brought me this scarf, and in his words, he was like, "This is more you. Gold, green, and black. A little bit more grounded." And it's so interesting to me as well, how someone else can see things like that in you. When sometimes you have a hard time, oh goodness, you know what? Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I had a ring on my finger at the start of today. I have lost my ring by the end of the day. So I know where it is, but I'm probably lost it intentionally. So I'm going to continue to lose it, if that makes sense. Anyway, how someone can see something in you that you might not be able to see in yourself. And, something as arbitrary as a scarf. How a friend of mine could see me in a piece of cloth. And how technically, with me wearing something like this, I am seeing myself with said piece of cloth. And then how that association, that feeling, towards the reason why it was given to me, and the indications of, what it means to actually wear it, changes with my perception of myself. Now I have pink pashminas, and I have, purple tie-dye pashminas, and I have a pashmina with like flowers on it. And every single time I put one of these pashminas on, I put one of these shirts on, I kind of like ask myself, and I see within myself how this pashmina is going to affect my consciousness, how it's going to affect yours, as a result of me wearing it, choosing these colors, choosing these patterns. When we constantly choose more and more colors, more and more patterns to kind of put upon ourselves, be it in a egoic way or be it in a physical way. The physical is a little bit more noticeable, but we do the exact same thing with our egos as well, and it's unfortunately not only more difficult to notice it, but it's more difficult to take it off as well. And I feel like I'm being forced into clothing that I do not want to wear. And it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. But it's like wanting to be naked in a world where you're expected to wear clothing. I've been playing with this little ant, having a little friend with me. I'll let you free, little homie. I'm just like letting you loop around, dude. You're man. Like, there you go, dude. He's going. Being a human being is so fucking difficult sometimes. Just see. Ask Hollywood to make movies out of your challenging dreams. I think it would be a sick movie, dude. It would be a little bit like extra R-rated though, but it would be pretty sick. I feel you, Mel. Going through the same. Much love. Love you, Dry. Thank you for making me feel less alone, friend. Darth Zombie, yes. It's so nice to have you here, my Texan friend. Thank you for joining us as well. How are you doing, friend? How's life been treating you? I'm sorry, dude. It's okay to be emotionally open sometimes. Stay positive. I'm positive, dude. You know, like that's the thing, dude. I feel like my positivity is the thing that's being challenged, or at least my want of sharing it in the way that I am. And it's like I'm being confronted with this, like, are you sure? And I'm being like, yeah, I'm fucking sure. And like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Are you sure? I'm like, I'm sure. I'm sure. That's that's like this question, dude. Like it's just being posed over and over and over again. And I am sure. I have to stay sure, friend. Ah, what you are and have been is exactly what you need to be. Selfishly, I am so glad you are authentically you because you make my reality better. Oh, thank you, Kira. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. Like these are happy tears. They're not sad tears. Very happy tears. I appreciate you so much. Not to mention the thousands of other people the same. I love you so much. Oh, but I validate all your feelings. They're vital to go through. You're doing wonderful. Thank you so much, my friend. They are difficult. Just having love like yours, it makes things easier. Thank you so much. A problem shared is a problem halved. I heard that today for the first time and I was like, shit. A problem shared is a problem halved. Mm, You know, I'll melt crying with you this morning. Life is such a wild journey. We can all be whatever, whoever we want to be. And each of our roads take us to different places in life. We have to follow our intuition to guide us to the right path along the way. Oh, you know, you are perfectly right, friend. Man, so perfectly right. My life is meant for me, as your life is meant for you. Like we're supposed to go through all of these things. You know, it's not really an escape from it. No matter where you go, there you are. I felt that way every morning of my childhood going to Catholic school, right? Undying anger. Undying anger. Is it undying anger? Yeah, it is. Is it? Or is it undying ranger? I was about to say it would have been so ironic if your username was undying anger after being forced to go to Catholic school. Oh man, I love you, friend. Know that you're loved. Know that you're worthy of love. Know that you're lovable, and know that you're loving. Whew, man, life can be quite a ride. How was your Catholic school? I'm curious as well, dude. Tell us more. Please stay true, Mel. I appreciate you and everything you've shown me so much. And you, me, friend, you've shown me so much love as well, Dry. I appreciate you so much. Like just being able to share space, you know, having a space in which we can share painful feelings, you know, it definitely isn't all sunshine and rainbows, but there are sunshine and rainbows, right? Yeah, but there is shadow as well. There is shadow as well. And confronting it sometimes can be the most important part. Is this a see how much we can make melt weep day? I don't think so, Darth Zombies. Like I came today with a little bit of a heavy heart, and it feels like I'm just kind of adding some more sand to the heaviness, if you will. But I'm feeling good, dude. I'm not feeling like badly. I'm just feeling a lot, if you will. It's nice to have you here, though, Darth. Thank you. We're all being his therapist. Yeah, Colt, exactly that. Jovan, thank you for joining us, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. I'll be around for a little after stream if you need a call. I've already, unfortunately, Kira, like made a arrangement to call another friend as well. I would have loved to, but I've just no time today. You know, like literally the entire morning was spent communicating. Then, like, I came here 3:30. I kind of, got myself ready. I set up the stream. We went live. After this live, I have a friend to call. After that call, we have the podcast. So, yeah, I have a bunch of stuff to do still. It's not that I don't want to, Kira. Like, we still have that date, if you will, that call that we have to have with one another. Like my mom always used the word date. Like we have a date in the bank, if you will. You have to set that date, and then we're going to go to like a. We have this restaurant called the Wimpy, in South Africa. It's like a, how do you call it? Just like a burger place, like a random burger joint. And like always going on these dates with my mom was always such a beautiful experience, and the way that we could kind of communicate, and mostly, like, I feel even more so it was something that was good for my mom. My mom likes talking as well. Go figure, maybe that's where I got it. And giving her a space to do that in as well has been something I've learned so much from. So I'm looking forward to it, Kira. Maybe tomorrow after stream, actually. Suck. But hello to you, Fred. Thank you for joining us. Are you South African too? No, I don't think so. Kira is from America. What's the podcast? The podcast is called Melting Dreams. Melting Dreams. One word. Like, it's basically me and two friends who are the regulars on the stream, if you will, or the podcast, if you will. We do have guests. We've had Viking Queen. We've had Aaron. We've had Jovan. We've had Jeff. We've had Teddy. We've had. Have we had Insane? I don't think so. We've had a bunch of friends on as well. It's a blessed experience. Just being able to communicate and share space with one another as well. I just wanted to make sure you weren't going to cry alone in your room. Oh no, Kira. I I rarely allow myself to cry when I'm alone. I feel like I only cry when I verbalize things, if that makes sense. Like if I keep it internal, it's kind of imagery, and imagery I can kind of witness with a sense of, I want to say, disconnection, or the observer understanding of it, where if I verbalize things, then suddenly I'm making it more real to myself, because I'm like experiencing it twice, and then that kind of pushes me over the line where I actually start to cry. Thank you though, Kira. Like, I feel the love you're sending me, friend. I appreciate it so much. My cat has his paws outstretched over my heart, and I think he's sending you all the love. He's never done it before. Hmm. I saw this little pedestal that had like this thick top of it, like it was like a cone that like went into this pedestal, and then it had like a thick base, and then this base was kind of like hollowed out, and then as a floating ball there was a yin yang sign. Like, I don't know exactly have a bowl and the yin yang sign at the same time, but it was just this amalgamation of both evil and good kind of captured within that bowl on this little pedestal. So I feel it. Thank you, Kitty, as well. Dry, give that kitty like a an ear and a head scratch for me as well, friend. I appreciate the love he's sending. Colt says, I've had bad experiences with religion. It gives me an immense guilt and a severe fear of hell. I might need a therapist for this. If you feel you need one, definitely go and see one, Colt. I think that might be a beneficial thing for you to do. Like, unfortunately, the understanding of normal religion, at least, the Christian Judeo religions, is this guilt-based system of like you're this faulty, flawed human being, and then because you're faulty and flawed, you need this deity to kind of save you, from your faulty flawedness. Otherwise, you're going to eternally burn in this hell. And it is, fear and guilt based, unfortunately. And it's really unfortunate, because it's not the truth. Not my truth, at least, I should, I guess, stipulate that. It's such a fundamental misunderstanding of our place in this whole that it can be sometimes painful, to people, as you're saying, like literally to the point where you have to go and see a therapist. We're hurting humanity so much with these understandings of like, oh, you have to feel guilty just about you existing. You know, we start this life off, with moms and dads. Like a lot of our moms and dads kind of project this guilt-based understanding onto us as well. Like, oh yeah, you have no idea how much we had to sacrifice. You have no idea how much you ruined my body. You have no idea, how much we had to give up. You had no idea how much time you took. You had no idea how much money you cost. No, 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 no. Feel guilty, feel guilty, feel guilty, feel guilty, just about existing. And then, like the church or like certain religions, taps into that fundamental guilt of our existence and is like, yeah, you're feeling guilty because you are guilty. And the only way for you to relieve yourself of this guilt is if you believe in this thing, you know, believe in this thing, because this thing is gonna wash you free from all of your guilt. And it was so interesting. Like Alan Watts said something. Like I want to see if I can remember it. He was like, um, religion, especially the Christian religion, is fundamentally faith-based. Like what you believe is more important than what you do. And if you don't believe in the same thing that I believe, then no matter what you do, you would not be able to earn the thing I believe in. Like that's the fundamental difference. And I was like, yeah, yeah. It's a belief, dude. Like if you believe in it, you can make it your reality. That's the craziest part about it. I think I just stumbled upon this because I'm supposed to. Having my mate of 9 years, teetering on separation or not. The runaround. If you'd be willing to share more of that, my friend, I'd be here to listen with you. Because weirdly enough, I re-met with a friend who I consider to be my best ever friend. Like in the same way a mate that you had for 9 years. And this friend of mine, like, was going through a lot. He, like, I'll share. He has some separation issues as well. Like he was orphaned as a child. He got adopted, by a very loving family, and they took care of him. And they did tell him, I think at the age of 6 that he was adopted. And he had the opportunity to go and search for his mom. He did search for his dad. He found his dad. His dad was actually close to where we live right now, and we had the opportunity to go and see his dad. But I think the possibility of rejection slash abandonment again, was too much for him to even consider. So he didn't do that. And then, like before this happened, I I had to go to China. Like I was homeless at the point, and like I was living on friends of mine's couch. I wasn't, earning an income, and I knew something had to change. So I had this opportunity arise where I could go to China to be able to earn a living and to actually be able to take care of myself. And I said that I would do it for only a year, and then I returned to South Africa and kind of make something with that. And the stupid part about it is that I inadvertently broke my promise because of COVID. Like literally my year kind of came to an end where I was supposed to leave on the 16th of April, and the 16th of April was right smack dab in the middle of the epidemic in China. So there were no flights leaving the country, and then like my visa expired, and they basically like rolled out this statement to all foreigners that, oh, chillax, we know that there are literally thousands of people's visas, expiring. Don't come into the offices, stay at home, it's literally a pandemic, yada yada yada. There's this automatic 2 month extension to your visas, and took this 2 month extension, like on face value, if you will. The 2 month extension eventually ran its course. I tried to reapply for what they call like an extension or like a temporary visa. Couldn't get one. Got moved to another city to try and do that. As I was in another city trying to get this visa, got arrested because I was teaching. I had to teach, like it was literally a part of the whole thing. Like you teach at the school, we renew your visa for you. So I'm like teaching, police kind of bust into the room, cameras and all. I get arrested for being an illegal teacher in the country. Um, oh, like, get taken to a cell, get interrogated for like 9 hours. I mean, them asking me about why I'm still in the country, and like I'm being like, bro, it's literally the middle of a fucking epidemic, and they're like, oh, bro, we understand this, but like they're like, oh yeah, but we understand this, but you're not allowed to be teaching, and I'm like, if I don't teach, I do not have a place to live. Like how your employers work in this country, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess we understand that as well. So they release me, but they require me to stay in my apartment. I was not even allowed to leave my apartment. They had a police car stationed outside. I was allowed to walk over the street, to the little convenience store to get myself food. Oh man, I ate actual trash every day for a month, and I played The Witcher 3 that a friend bought for me, and I just got completely lost in that world because the reality of what the actual world was just too much for me to bear. And as a result of all of this stuff, I had to stay in the country longer than I anticipated. And eventually, in August, I got to come back. So that's like a year and 5 months in China. I got to come back, and it was a very visceral experience. The friend that I lived with before I went to China, was intern in a situation where he didn't have a place to live either. He just finished his degree, literally in the middle of the epidemic. It's the middle of the epidemic. There aren't people going into offices, never mind people being hired. So he couldn't find a job with his degree. So I was like, come live with me, and he did. And we lived together for a few months. And during these months, like at the start of it, he basically broke up with this girl that he is with now as well. And like he was going through a lot, having broken up with this girl, and it was a very difficult experience for him as well, and I didn't know how to help him. And then as a result of my not knowing how to help him, he lashed out a little bit at me, where he felt like kind of this sense of anger towards me, and like his exact words were, you've changed so much that we are no longer compatible. Like that's what he told me. And it was, as a result of me not seeing the pain he was going through and not being aware enough to help him through it. And I was like, what the fuck? And then we didn't talk for like 6 months, where I sent him 12 messages, just like over and over and over and over again, sending him messages like, oh, not replying. It's been like a month or something. I'm thinking about my homie. Send him a message again, like 12 messages later, and he like actually, replies to me. He apologizes. He says that he's been a bad friend and that he's sorry about that. So the point I'm trying to make, the runaround, is don't give up, friend. If you and this friend of 9 years have to experience some sense of separation for a short time, maybe that could be something that'd be beneficial. Like it is difficult, but I literally met my friend who I haven't seen in a year, who I thought was the best friend I've ever had, in the same way, my mate of 9 years, if you will. Not exactly, but you know the point I'm trying to make. I've met him today, dude, so I feel we've met each other very much for the same reason. Thank you, that run around. I don't know if you're still here, friend, but I'm sending you so much love. Where can I find the podcast? Melting Dreams. That's the one. If you search that in YouTube, you should be able to find it. Thank you. It is one word as well. Yes, thank you, Jovan, for letting our friend know. Sadly, I'm Merc. No, sadly, my friend. The land of opportunity, if you will. I only mean that in the wish I were in South Africa. Way it came out sounding bad. No, like I felt it a little bit like that as well, Kira, but no bad whatsoever. I only cry when I'm alone. At least I try. Don't like to be a burden to others. I feel that as well, Dry. I don't think you are. Like unfortunately, someone in tears, like you don't know what to do. But the only thing that you need to do is be there. Just like hold them, sit with them, let them know that they're not alone in their pain. You're not trying to escape them, if you will, because that in itself, can be painful as well. So you're not being a burden, Dry. At least know that, my friend. There is only love. We're here for you, friend. Yes, we are, absolutely. Saying again 5 times as fast as you can. Again, 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 again. Again, again, again. Again, again, again. Again, 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 again. Again, 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 again. Again, 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 again. You're still here! Yes, I am, Katie. But maybe not for long. Me too. So, I guess we're not alone. No, we're not. We're not a lot. Jovan. I love you, friend, so much. This is an intense story, Mel. It is a little bit of an intense story, Jort. Like, there's been so many freaking intense stories, dude. Like, I feel like it's not going to end anytime soon. It's just gonna be like, oh, you just experienced intense? Whoosh. How about some more intense? And then I'm like, oh fuck, that was intense. And then you're like, oh, you thought that was intense, huh? How about this? And I'm like, oh, that was intense. And I'm like, yeah, that was intense. How about this? And I'm intimidated, dude. Like it makes me, it scares me even. Not even makes me something. It just like terrifies me because I feel like I'm holding on sometimes, to this ever faster spinning thing, and I'm like, like literally just being dragged. The sheer G-force of this experience is so intimidating, but I'm refusing to let go. I've tried to let go before, and then I just found myself on the other side of it. Still being fucking wrecked. So I'm like, oh well, I guess I have to, like, I either get wrecked in the way of being, back to it, and like kind of be like it forced into me, if you will, or I get to hold on to it and be like pushing my face against it. Yeah, does that make any sense? Maybe not. Like that's the way I experience it, at least. South Africa also has rats. Yeah, that's true. Rose and roses and rats. Where are you, mate? I'm in South Africa, friend. Now he is teetering on wanting to separate. Whew, man, that must be so difficult, my friend. Especially if it's a life built together, like quite literally a life built together. Like I feel I have all of these questions, like why do you want to separate, or why does he want to separate? Is it a separation because of personal space, because of personal growth? Is it a separation because of disagreement about fundamental values? Is it a separation because of like a want, when it goes into the future, be it children, be it like, is there a reason? That's the question I'm asking fundamentally. Not that any reason is going to be adequate or going to make it okay, but maybe if we can ask or kind of come to a reason, we can start back from that reason and destruct it, reverse engineer it, if you will. We're here to help and to love you, to run around any way we can. Dry, how are you? So much love. Sleepy, but I have so much to do. There we go. Thank you. Yes, thank you, friend. Thank you for listening, for being here with us. Sorry about that. Dry, much caffeine your way. I typed that message wrong, but the response was much funnier than I expected for what I meant to say. I didn't know what you meant to say then. Say again 5 times, as fast as you can. Did I do it wrong, Darth? I mean, like, it was done still, dude, out of love for you. Love you, friend. Shower time. Good to be yourself today. Good to be ourselves today. Thank you, Kira, for sharing this space with us, my friend. Thank you. Hearing you say you weren't aware of your mate's pain and emotion, so you weren't able to help him really hits hard. Reality has been so intense lately. Maybe I've been checking out and trying to escape him. A separation because of a want. Okay. Like, my friend, I'm so happy to be sharing this space with you and to be feeling into this with you. Like, separation is one of the biggest reasons that I've been abstaining from relationships. Like, I'm on year 3 and 8 months. No? Year 3 and. Yeah, about year 3 and 9 months of being completely single. And it's also, I don't want to say fear, but this resistance, to that separation. Like, it's something that I know is going to absolutely destroy me. So I would rather build myself, if that makes any sense. Maybe build myself to the point where I cannot be destroyed. And it's the ego that I'm building technically, because the fundamental me that we are cannot be destroyed. But this ego can. And the ego is the thing that is in fear of that destruction. But it's also this understanding that I do not need someone else right now in my life. Like, I understand that someone else isn't going to be able to do for me the things that I need to do for myself. And I don't know if your significant other is doing it, a physical one. It's a little personal, but your words are so encouraging. You don't need to share anymore, my friend. I just we're here to share in a loving way. If the thing you want to not share is shared not because of a love for yourself, that is still love, my friend, and know that to be true. But know that this is not a fundamental need. Like, this relationship we have to ourselves is one that is fundamentally so important, and this relationship to our ego as well, in relation to a significant other, can be so daunting, because it fundamentally is you bringing someone into your life, and then, as you've said, you spent 9 years with this individual, so much part of them has become part of you, and that separation can be something that is extremely painful, like feeling like losing a limb, losing a part of yourself. And on a egoic level, on literally the ego level, you are going to lose a part of yourself, but you're not losing yourself. And I think maybe that's the real thing to remind ourselves of, to hold on to. Oh, Bob. Hey, Mel. Glad to share this day with you. Thanks for sharing about your friend. Time apart is definitely good sometimes. I agree, Bob. It's nice to have you here, dude. We've spent some time apart, huh? Since the last time we've seen each other. I did, you know, reach out to you on the Discord. I've thought about you a lot as of late, man. I'm sending you so much love. I was asking you to say the yin and yang thing 5 times as fast as you can, but I typed it all wrong. Yin and yang, yin and yang, yin and yang, yin and yang, yin and yang. Say the yin and yang thing 5 times as fast. Like, I don't know, do you mean the thing I saw inside my head? You know, pedestal, thick, base, curved out, yin and yang, like 3 dimensional object. Like that? I'm confused, Darth. Building your life is not just building your ego, it's just building yourself a physical safety place, like a building, a house. Everyone needs a house. Uh, the need of a house is also kind of arbitrary. I think that maybe at some point in my life, I will have to be a hobo, bub. Like, and I'm saying that kind of coyly, in a way where I'm like, uh, maybe, maybe this is what is gonna happen. But it's also something I'm not scared of anymore. This need to survive, this need to have material comfort, this need to kind of satiate and survive, like it's something that is a painful attachment sometimes. And I've let go of it before ultimately, but now I'm trying to let go of it more metaphysically, if that makes any sense. Like I'm trying to come to an understanding of my place in this with less attachment to, what's coming next. And I think that's going to be the only way for me to genuinely feel into what comes next, if you will. Like just feeling into it as it comes. Sending you, thank you, sending lots of love. Thank you so much as well, the run around. You were so appreciated, friend. Thank you for creating a space within me to share with you as well. I am an elusive, mercurial presence. Love you, bro. And I love you, Bob. I love that actually. Hey, bro. Happy Saturday. Good to see you again. Oblong. Oh, goodness, friend. It's been forever and ever and ever and ever. It's so nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining us. I want to see you create these things you see when you close your eyes. Me too, Jovan. I cannot wait. And I know, as we're going through this journey, eventually I'm going to have the technological means to literally, as I close my eyes, visualize it right here in front of you, friends, and be able to show you, like, look at this thing. This thing just came out of my fucking mind. Look at it. Look at it. Make it go away again. Why am I seeing so many people with fangs these days? The vampires are uprising, my friend. We're finally, hacked the ability to go into sunlight. And we're gonna take the earth for ourselves, Faye. No, I don't know. I got bored of these. I don't know. Like I got a bunch of attention in high school when the whole Twilight thing was a thing, and then never again. Yeah, man, the reality of living on the road is really scary. I daydream of van living, but the reality of going to the bathroom in a bucket is tough. Dude, like van living is the only thing that I want right now. Like I can't see myself staying in one place. I'm literally forcing myself now, kind of in a way, to stay in one place, in a way that I'm trying to come to some sort of realization. Again, these realizations of everywhere you go, there you are. These realizations of it's not so much about where you go externally, as much as how you can travel internally. Like I understand these things fundamentally, but I'm trying to understand them more experientially, if that makes any sense. You were tongue tied when explaining it, so I was attempting to help force a laugh. I failed. No, dude, you like created divinely nonetheless, Star Zombies. Going to catch the podcast and wondering if you have a schedule on here or anywhere. I stream every single day. The run around every single day around this time. About I've been streaming for about an hour and a half, and that's usually the time. Like I usually end the stream 5 minutes ago, but around 4 p.m. my time. So take take 1.5 hours back in time, your time. That's when I usually start to stream every single day. I do not miss days. I am go always, and I'm going to am go always forever. Even though it can be difficult sometimes, I will not quit, because if I did quit today, like, and I did feel like just saying I can't right now, and I didn't, and because I didn't say that thing that I was like kind of pushed to say, I got to meet you the run around. So thank you for reminding me of why it is I'm doing this. I love you so much. Oblong, yes man. It's been so long. Hope all is well with you, King. Metaphysical memes, can't wait. Oblong, me too, friend. Like it's still, oh goodness, 8 years. Still like 8 years in the making, bro. But it's gonna be here. You know, it's stay tuned. Let's see where we're at in 8 years. Goodness, I hope I'm not sitting right here in 8 years. I'm gonna kick myself on the ass. No, I won't be. I'm sure. Yo, one seen some pretty rad short buses remade into drivable living quarters. Neat stuff. Absolutely, Jovan. That I just don't even remotely have the finances to make that a reality just yet. Oh, I meant to tell you, congrats on your RPAN Distance Socializing Award. You definitely earned it. Oh, thank you, Oblong. I appreciate your love as well, my friend. Got a little badge of honor, like a little brand of like RPAN anniversary winner, and like I'm more happy about that than anything. Like it's like, ooh, look at that. I did a thing, you know, like 2021 was literally the year I completely committed not only myself but my life to streaming on this platform. So being able to have that little like a little stamp is like, yeah, I did it. Thing was done. I'm happy about it, friend, and thank you for your love as well. I hear you, man. I hope your thoughts and your reality sync up. You feel and you feel groovy soon. I'm not feeling not groovy, dude. I feel like I am digging myself more into the groove that I know I'm supposed to be grooving in. And it's like I'm having, you know, a little bit of needle wobble. I like to kind of hit on the, the reference a little bit more. It's like, you know, someone is kind of shaking the little needle, and I'm like really trying to stay in this groove, if you will. And it's like the, you know, that's happening. It's a little bit difficult right now. Tips for someone who finds it difficult to experience pleasure without stimulants. Ooh, that's a loaded question. It depends on what stimulants you use. If it's, you know, caffeine, that's a stimulant, not as hectic as one. If it's nicotine, also a stimulant, not as hectic as one. If it's speed or meth, ooh, that's that's a little bit more yikes. You know, I'm not judging you, but in comparison to, you know, what it, the want of or the ability to feel pleasure with these stimulants is definitely significantly diminished in a sober state of mind. So if I had any tips, and I had to give tips, bad Hooverdorp, Hooverdorp, Dorp, Dorp is how I would say the last name. So I'm gonna call you Dorp. Dorp, like quite literally, exercise. You know, eating healthy, and then, you know, trying to gain some sort of pleasure in being able to hit strides like that. You know, try not to necessarily experience pleasure from the actual stimulation, but from stimulating in a way that is beneficial to your overall health. Because if you can like take your diet seriously, and you can take, proper exercise seriously, you are going to literally see not only your mental state, but literally your physical body change to represent this, shift in consciousness, shift in understanding, shift in association with pleasurable experiences. And I believe as a result of that, you could have more pleasure. And that's the only tip that I can come up with right now in this moment. I hope it helps, Torp. It's nice to have you here, friend. I could see you living in a van with a big mural on it. That would be dope. Yes, absolutely, George. I'm looking forward to realizing that dream as well. It's further away than I thought it's going to be, and that's also hurting sometimes. But it's not something I am too overly obsessed with right now. It's going to become a reality when it's supposed to be a reality. And the thing as well is, like, when I can be mobile, I am going to go small town by small town, city areas by city areas, going to high school by high school. I'm going to go and talk to the youth, try and bring as much love, as much understanding, not only of themselves but of their place in this whole. Because if I had to think about where the mental state of our youth is right now in comparison to where my mental state was, looking at the world as a whole, I was not doing well. And if I could teach, the youth the stuff that I had to learn the hard way, literally had to learn by taking my own life, literally had to learn by taking copious amounts of psychedelics to try and heal myself from that trauma, without them having to do that, like, that's absolutely my responsibility. And I look forward to being able to do that. And it hurts me sometimes that I'm not doing that already, because I genuinely believe we can save lives. Whew. We just have to try. 9 a.m. Texas time. Thank you, Darth, and Mountain time? 8 a.m. Mountain time. Thank you as well, George. Oh, East Coast Rabbit. Glad I caught you then. Glad I caught you now. Thank you so much for being here with us, East Coast. It's so nice to have you here as well. Do you know how Tate's been? I should send him a message. Like, I instantly thought about Tate as well now. It's definitely a brand of honor. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, as I hope you do as well, Oblong. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Yes, I live in America and I have to work Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, so I will try and catch it on the weekend. My friend, thank you so much. We appreciate your presence here, the run around. So it's like 8:30 a.m. I live in Illinois, so I want to make sure I catch it. I think that should be fine, my friend. Like between 8:30 and then I guess 9:30, I should be live. I try to be every single day, my friend. I look forward to seeing you here again. So much love for you. Thank you for being willing to be vulnerable and sharing your pain with us as well. I'm happy if any way that it helped. I hear you. I hear that. Yep, it's a little wobble. Dude, you gotta take that bull by the horns and go before life answers anchors you down. As you get older, the anchors and chains multiply. It happens almost overnight. I'm terrified of that, bub. I feel like those chains are being thrown over me right now, dude. And I'm like, no, what the fuck? Don't put that shit on me. Oh, good luck to you. I got your back no matter what. Thank you, Bob. Oh, dude, like it's such a blessing knowing that I'm not unhaving of the backlist. Yes, I absolutely butcher English. Thank you. It doesn't make sense what I'm trying to say. I do not have no one having my back. Yes? Yes. I'm happy that you have my back, Bob. Thank you, friend. And I know you other friends do as well. It means the world to me, genuinely. That's just the way she goes, Bob. That's just the way she goes. I thought I was gonna live in the mountains for a few years. Didn't happen. Doesn't mean it can't, Bob. Doesn't mean it can't happen, dude. Like, you're not dead yet. Sorry for me being a little bit brass. So you can still live in the mountains, dude. 100%. I feel this. You too, the runaround. You too, my friend. Yes, love the stimulate question. I think like that's the only thing that I have to give in that moment. MDMA is depressing, That's interesting that you say that. 9 a.m. Central Time. Thanks, Darth. I want to heal people with LSD and ketamine and MDMA. Ketamine, actually, yeah, I can. LSD, sure, but I would rather say mushrooms just because of the LSD experience being a little bit more long and a little bit more directed. Like you can kind of take yourself where you want to go, where mushrooms is gonna take you where you sometimes don't want to go, and that could kind of be necessary for healing as well. MDMA, for like stuff like PTSD, very great for healing as well. Eshe bra, Eshe to you, Vape. Thank you for joining us again, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. How have you been? MDMA is depressing. I'm interesting that you're saying that, dude. MDMA technically is just a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So if it's depressing to you and you prefer stimulants, then I'm guessing you're like more aligned slash associated slash tending towards slash feeling into dopamine. Like stimulants technically give you dopamine. And that dopamine reaction is basically something telling you, yeah, 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 ooh, ooh, yeah, ooh, 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 ah, ooh, ooh, ah. A lot of that. You, yeah. Like that's the way I perceive it. Like just copious amounts of dopamine. I've never experienced anything like a dopamine reuptake inhibitor or just straight dopamine kind of looking molecules. But technically, dopamine tells you you're doing a good job. Oh, you made your bed. Yeah, good. You did it. Oh, you just had a successful business deal. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, tasty meal. Nice. That's dopamine. And serotonin is a little bit more information, dude. Like this conversation, technically, if I talk to you like this the whole time, absolutely no serotonin is going to be released in your brain. But if I smile at you and I have a little bit of inflection on my voice and I move myself around a little bit, I'm giving you more information. And that information gets like stimulated in your brain through serotonin. And if serotonin or the reuptake inhibition of serotonin within your brain makes you feel depressed, maybe sit with that depression. Maybe that information is something that you need to learn from. Torp. How about that? That's the way I'm feeling about it. No chains, hell you break those chains. Water is dry. Water is dry. To the comment, MDMA is depressing. Water is dry. That's some dry water right there. Breathing is breathtaking. Oh goodness, Jovan. Where's my little book of things worth saying? Like I didn't actually bring it today. Breathing is breathtaking. It's so simple. And it's so worth saying. Breathing is breathtaking. Because it literally is. I'm taking breath. I'm breathing. Man, I love that so much, Jovan. Yes, I could find a way to avoid the dopamine drop. Yeah. Like, I mean, the dopamine drop avoidance, if you will, ibogaine might be a better one for those actually, because it kind of shakes you and your want for constant dopamine stimulation can help as well. Thank you guys. This has made my morning much more bearable. We freaking love you, the run around. We don't need to know you to love you, because all I am is the I that you are, and I can love the I that is present within me, the I that is literally conscious of the me that I am, and know that that I is a part of you as well. And I love that, and I love you, and we love you. Friend, thank you so much for sharing the space with us. We look forward to seeing you again. You're so loved, kind stranger, Fred. So loved. Like, not stranger anymore, is a runaround. Obviously, Jovan, we've known this person our entire existences. We just didn't know that we know the runaround. You're so loved. So that's why I love uppers. That's exactly why you love uppers, Jester. Who you? Who you? How? You? Yeah. And I'm like, Huh, that's interesting. Oh goodness. I like that. That's why I like serotonin stuff, dude. Mushrooms, DMT, LSD. All of them have the little bottom structure of a serotonin molecule. It clicks into your brain. Just like, you want information, huh? We'll give you some information. Low dose, probably. Only it's hard when it feels so good. Yeah, it is hard, my friend. It really is. Like, consider, like, go and do research. Yes, and that way I take all of the responsibility off of myself and I put it right back on you, Dorp. Go and do some research about ibogaine treatments, dude. You know, ibogaine treatments for addiction specifically, and potentially, you know, like psychedelics, you know, mushrooms, DMT, LSD for psychedelic treatments or for addiction treatments as well. Do your own research and take from that as you may. Did you have a bad experience with MDMA? It has been so fun. MDMA has been so fun at music festivals. They really are. No, I don't have necessarily a bad experience. Unfortunately, like I think something is kind of broken in my brain. So I get psychedelic experiences on MDMA because for some reason my serotonin is just kind of like, oh, now you see stuff. Not stuff that's not there, just like, oh, some for some reason that piece of wood right there is breathing now. Neat, you know. And I don't get that on other psychedelics, not normally. And I've now kind of taught myself how to, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's kind of trippy. You must associate better with Stimson. I don't know who Stimson is. Unfortunately, they run around. Stimson is Stimson stimulants? Stimson? I'm not exactly sure. Hey to you, Teha. Thank you for joining us. No, I'm taking more about the week longs come down. Oh goodness. Oh yeah. Okay, but how much are you doing, Dorp? You know, if you're like using copious amounts of MDMA, you're going to have like week long come downs because you're literally depleting your brain's natural serotonin storages. Like, do your own research about MDMA. Don't listen to a word that I'm saying. But for my personal experience, you don't need to take as much as people are giving you. Okay? Like, especially, like, I have friends that do like upwards of 3 grams of MDMA in a week, and I'm like, fuck, dude, don't stop doing that. And they're like, but it's nice. I'm like, yeah, but you're gonna feel like shit for the next 2 weeks. And they're like, oh, but it's a festival. I'm like, but bruh, respect yourself. You know, take 50 milligrams. You know, that's really all you need. Take that much. Don't take freaking 3 grams, dude. Relax yourself. Do you have psychedelic experiences while sober all the time, Jester? Yeah. Like I've realized that I've never stopped. Like I kind of died as a child, and then I tried to kill myself again as a teenager. And I think, you know, like the first death experience I had, I was 1 years old. My parents found me at the bottom of a swimming pool. They fetched me out with like the scooper, dude, like the literal swimming pool scooper. Like I don't know why they just jumped in, but that was literally how they got me out of the pool. And you know, they took me to the hospital, like literally like pumped my lungs of the water, and the doctors were like, you know, we don't know if this dude is gonna be like all there when he comes back, and maybe I'm still not all there after coming back. And then just as a result of that, I've had, you know, the most weird experiences in life in general. And you know, when I started taking psychedelics, I kind of anticipated that, oh, these psychedelics are gonna suddenly, you know, do stuff to me. I'm gonna start seeing things, and then it just didn't do that. I just had even more articulation. I had even more like thoughts and kind of like verbalization of what was happening to me, what I was perceiving, why I was perceiving it. It just kind of got more intense and more open, if you will. And then, you know, like I realized that some of the stuff that I experience in a sober state of mind is what people experience on psychedelics. And I was like, oh, I am constantly tripping. I've just not stopped, you know, like since I was that age. And upon that realization, I kind of stopped taking psychedelics for a very long time as well. I was like, I'm kind of already there. I don't necessarily need to go even deeper. Now, when I do go deeper, I go with even more intention, and I also go with the intention to defocus. So, like, I can defocus to the point where I just like look from the center of my head, and then there becomes this like three lattice line where there's a side of reality that kind of moves like this, there's a side of reality that moves like this, and there's a side of reality that just like looks like this, and then I'm like, yes. Reality is in pieces. Little bit intimidating, but and then as soon as I'm like, okay, enough, then it like it reassembles, and I'm like, oh look, reality, good, thank you. Oh, you guys are making me blush. You're so loved, my friend. Thank you for the tree hug, Harley. It's so nice to have you here. Stimulants, autocorrect got me. Oh, thank you. Like I thought it might have been stimulants. It's completely okay. Man, that's crazy. Hearing about drowning Dab. Yeah, Bob. Like I was actually talking about that today. Like me, my dad, Bronwyn, Adam, Marlies, other Chris. Like there was literally four Chris's at one table today. I'm technically a Chris as well. And we were just like talking about these psychedelic experiences, and I mentioned how like on a very strong LSD experience, I was like kind of jumping around, and I was like constantly on my toes, and that kind of tension made my calves like kind of stiff and crampy, if you will. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna chillax. I'm just gonna go into the pool, and I like dropped my legs into the pool, and as soon as I dropped my legs into the pool, this information like rushed back into me of like, oh shit, I remember, the water. And I felt like the water was like both sucking pain out of me and also drawing me into it. Almost like it was like, oh, this water has this ability to take this pain from me. And then this feeling of I drowned myself to have pain taken from me, if that makes sense, as a child. And I just like broke out in tears, and I was like sobbing. And like a friend, Adrian, he came. He's like, "Yeah, okay, oh, are you okay? Like, are you okay, dude?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm just remembering. I told him, and it was such a healing experience, dude. It's oh man, everything happens for a reason. I believe, like I'm as broken as I am, so that I can fix myself in a way that is going to be indicating or pointing me in the direction where I could potentially help others as well. And Paul is here. He's saying, "Hey, brother, I'm celebrating the blessed season of Obese October, third annual, getting all of my cravings out of my system this month, then going to crush it health wise for November." Yes, I'm so happy to hear that, Paul, because I'm literally fundamentally doing the exact opposite of what you're doing, like bit for bit. I am not smoking weed. I'm not drinking caffeine. The first 2 weeks of this month, I did not eat food, dude. Not at all, bro. Not even a bit. So, and now I'm like taking my health so seriously to the point where during this whole experience, I learned about vegetable oils and how like literally these vegetable oils basically put already oxidated fats into our body, and then having oxidative fats in our body means that quite literally we oxidize faster, meaning your brain dies quicker, you die quicker. And I was like, shit. So I've been exercising like an absolute insane person. So it's so sick to me that you're like literally doing the polar opposite of that. Thank you for balancing me out, and I will live vicariously through you, Mr. Paul. We love you to bits, friend. George says, I have to head out. Always love being here. Thanks, Melton friends. Always love having you here, George. Thank you so much for sharing this space with us. Unamused Jester. It's been a long time since I've seen you as well, friend. I remember you, but like your comment kind of came as yeah, like a little bit of an extra. I'm so nice to have you here as well. It's so interesting. I feel like I'm constantly tripping as well, but that's not as far as I know. I had near death experience. I mean, you don't need to, unamused jester. Life is a freaking trip, dude. Like, I mean, looking at that tree is like, oh goodness, it's much. It's so much. I don't think you need to have a near-death experience to just be tripped out about reality. Oh, hilarious. When you described the effects of MDMA, I instantly thought, why is the wall breathing? It's like, yes, everything's alive. I love everything. Love sharing space with you as we do use your fun. Thank you for being here with us. Oh, when it rains. Thank you for the love, my friend. Sending love back to you. How are you doing? Woof. That's woof. That's all realities move differently. There it is. Yeah. You have had that one as well, right? Man, like that one was like the first time I was able to do that was on a 550 mic experience of Lions, where I was like sitting in a chair and like I was really tripping the fuck out, obviously. I was like and then instead of just kind of like holding on to my, like, I want to almost call it sobriety, I was like frantically holding on to reality as I saw it. I just kind of eased into it, and then I saw it like fracture into this like, three lattice system, and it was like kind of like moving, and it was like these planes, were completely like stationary and solid, and then these things were like moving away from me and like into me and like kind of like moving away like this and like moving back to me, and these were like coming in like this and then moving out like that. And like while I'm like kind of in this mind space, people knew that I was definitely in a state of mind and was at a festival. Oh, fuck, I'm stupid sometimes. Like, I, yeah, don't take that much psychedelics, that much acid at a festival. And then this like girl, I knew her. She's like the girlfriend of the dealer. She kind of came to talk to me to sell me more stuff, while I'm in this extreme state of mind because, you know, I mean, capitalizing or whatever. And as she was talking to me, I was like looking at her and I could see her perfectly. And she was like, basically, trying to convince me to buy stuff from her. And I could not understand her. I knew what she was saying, but the words that she was saying at me did not make sense. And I was just looking at her. And I smiled to her and I said, I don't well, no, I said, I can't hear you, is what I told her. I was like, I can't hear you. I said to her. And then she looked at me kind of like with this face of shock because I was like very intently listening to her as she was speaking to me. And I was like, I cannot hear you. And then she kind of like took this step back, and then she like kind of left me. And then the next day I was like, I'm so sorry if I was rude. I didn't mean to do that. And then her boyfriend was like, oh no, dude, like don't worry about that. And she was like, yes, you were rude. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I was literally on 550 miles of acid, dude. Like, what can you expect of me? Oh, absolute love water. It is so trippy to think about. That's super intense water experience on the L. Yeah, the good healing times. Water has it all. It's surreal, dude. It really is surreal. I would love to actually, go into the ocean on an L experience because I've not been able to do that. I've never seen the ocean. Like, I haven't seen the ocean in 5 years. 6 years. No, no, like 5 years and 5 months. Like it's been for me since I've seen the ocean. That's before I jumped into the realm of psychedelia, if you will. Oh, speaking of sober psych experience, that feeling I get while sober sometimes, that the zooming in and out feeling, rocking back and forth feeling, like as you breathe as well. Breathing is breathtaking. Ooh, vegetable oils are killing us. I knew they were shit, but actually literally killing us. Oh yeah. Go and look at the correlation. Like there's a very cool documentary. I think it's called the $1 billion industry, $100 billion industry. Like Google or YouTube, the $100 billion industry, vegetable oils. Like with those two keywords, you should be able to find that YouTube video. And they basically show, the correlations of the increased vegetable oil consumption with increased levels of heart disease, increased levels of Alzheimer's. They put rats, and I know it's not a one-to-one study, but they put rats on a vegetable oil heavy diet, and they had heart attacks in 6 weeks. And also, they found that they would literally take, like kind of thin slices, if you will, of the mitochondria of these rats. And then after these 6 week studies, those mitochondria literally were these little shriveled up masses. Like they literally do not have the ability to produce energy anymore. And we've been finding out more and more so now as well that mitochondria misfunction or dysfunction is one of the things that are killing us the most. Literally, the powerhouses of our cells just do not function the way they're supposed to. It's surreal, dude. Right? I'm shocked. Like, go and like do research about this for yourself. Like on YouTube, there's a lot of information coming out now. Just like how dangerous are vegetable oils. If you search that alone, you'll find a lot of information. It's ridiculous. Like it's so bad. I refuse to eat bread because it has vegetable oils in it. I refuse to eat sauces because it has vegetable oils in it. Like I'm not eating a lot of things other than like fats, proteins, and like vegetables right now, like exclusively after reading the information. Like I'm kind of scared. Like my family is Alzheimer's prone as well, and it's this clear graph. Like as our vegetable oil consumption has increased over the last 100 years, Alzheimer's comes right along with it. It's literally like they're going hand in hand as a graph. Like if you were to say, like sugar consumption with weight gain, it would have the exact same graph, and like vegetable oil consumption to Alzheimer's has the exact same graph, and it's crazy scary. I can hear the bugs on your end. That's wild. Yeah, there's a lot of flies, like just vibing, just having the time of their lives. Oh, I felt that one too. When the worlds don't make sense, the words don't make sense. It worries me that I'm having a literal stroke, dude. Like I genuinely believe that in that moment, like I knew what she was saying to me, like only afterwards, like kind of conceptualizing what was going on in my whole experience. I knew what she was saying to me, but in that moment, because I was literally peeking out of my mind, my brain was just not having that. It was like, oh, this information you're giving me, I'm not going to accept it because it's gonna harsh my mellow. So I'm like no, gatekeep this shit. Like none of that. And I'm very happy my brain did that for me, because if I realized in that moment that she was also trying to like pawn something on me, because I'm in a vulnerable state of mind, I would have, lost even more faith in humanity, and that wouldn't have been a good place for me to be in. Heart disease, now the leading cause of death, was rare prior to industrialization of oils. Yep, Jovan, you're perfectly right as well. Like the industrialization of oils basically happened because of the excess seeds or little pits we had from cotton. So cotton has this little seed in the middle and then this fluff around it. So you have to take the seed out of the little fluff, and then we had all of the seeds left, and we're like, oh, what do we do with these seeds? Nothing wants to eat it. We have to do something with it. So we started crushing them with extreme heat and extreme pressure, and we got this crude oil out of it. And then we used this crude oil in our machines as a lubricant for the longest time. And we're like, you know what? We can clean these oils, and we can kind of, what's it called, hydroxynated, and then this oil becomes a clear liquid, and we're like, it's a vegetable oil, or comes from seeds, it's good for you. And then we started consuming it, we started replacing things with it, and then heart disease just kind of comes along with it. And then it went as far as to like pretend or say that, oh yeah, no, it's not vegetable oils doing it, it's actually saturated, like butters and like animal fats, that's what's doing it. And then people started consuming even more vegetable oils, and even more heart attacks followed. It is wild. Rats have a faster life. That's why it's 6 weeks. But I know you're completely right about that, dry historian. But 6 weeks, dude, like a average rat lifespan is like 2 years. Like if you start consuming something and it kills you of heart disease after 6 weeks, that's a yikes, dude. That's big yikes. Damn it. How do you avoid vegetable oils? I avoid so much already. Gotta eat raw, I guess. Dang. I mean, avoid vegetable oils first. Unamused jester. That's how serious I am. Like, eat the rest. Rather eat sugar than vegetable oils. Like, I don't eat sugar either, but I would rather have you eat sugar than vegetable oils. Dude, that's how bad it is, man. Genuinely. Man, I love bread. Me too. I fucking love bread hooligans. It's fluffy goodness, dude. Like, and then add some meat, add some cheese, add some lettuce, add some tomatoes, add some mayonnaise, which has vegetable oils in it. I have not taken, taken, I've not taken any better like mayonnaise in years. Like, it's such a vibe. It's so delicious, and yet now I just see myself eating, Alzheimer's and eating heart disease, and it like I cannot. Like, I think the fast also kind of shook me a little bit because I knew that the way I was going to eat is going to become me again, after I start consuming food again. So I was like, no, no, I can't. Good point on the oils. I'm happy you feel that intro. Like, go and do the research for yourself, friend. Oh, no one needs the Alzheimer's, dude. I'm terrified of that shit. That's literally, why I kind of went into psychedelics as well. Is because that like studies that are coming out about the prevention of neurological decline through the use of psychedelics, and I was like, yep, I don't want no Alzheimer's. I'm gonna get myself some psychedelics. Nancy, glad to see you. I didn't miss the live stream. Technically, you would have, Nancy. Like, I'm about 40 minutes over our regular end time. I'm so happy that you're here as well, friend. It's so nice to catch you. I think when I don't understand the words, it's cause I'm overstimulated AF, which I guess is part of a tripping experience sometimes. It can be. Unamused jester. Friends, I really do appreciate you sharing this space with me today. I felt like we definitely went into the deep sides and we came out on the light side. And I appreciate you, friends, for helping me see that as well. I love you so, 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 so much. I hope you have an amazing day. Well, the gluten and the dairy fucked me up. It's an autoimmune way, and I'm low sugar for reasons. And the bread, I miss it so much. And cheese, yeah, me too, unamused Chester. Good thing about not drinking milk as well, and I hate to load even more of this stuff on you, but milk is loaded in phthalates. So if you want to be even more terrified, go look up what phthalates are. Or don't. Like, ignorance is bliss, but phthalates are just as scary, unfortunately. And milk, unfortunately, has up to 300% of the recommended amount of phthalates. So, yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. I believe the key in everything is moderation. I leave that on that. Thank you, 8 Weight, for sharing that bit of knowledge. Everything in moderation, even moderation, friends. I love you so much, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Ooh, my legs. Every single time I'm standing up, my legs kill me. I love you, YouTube friends, as well. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.